everybody, and welcome to my discussion tonight on intrastate equity crowdfunding or equity crowdfunding in general. We're going to take just a minute and let a couple people get on. Want to wish everybody a happy King's Day. Hope you enjoyed your day of service, or if you weren't in service, if you were in study, or if you were, just talking maybe to your children about the importance and the significance of the life of Dr. King, then that's great as well. I know I had a couple of discussions with my children about that a little earlier today, and that was very positive. It's surprising to know how much particularly my youngest daughter, knows about the life of Dr. King and how she recognizes the importance of his life, of course, and the work that he did. So I am very, very proud to announce that tomorrow, as of tomorrow, it's go time for equity crowdfunding. We're going to be launching the project tomorrow. The Native Sons of Chicago project will launch tomorrow morning at a press conference. There's going to be a press conference at 1871 from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. If you know anybody that's in media who may need to know about it so that they can come and attend, I would be happy to send them the media advisory so that they can be ready to go. I've invited WVON, Chicago Defender, other black media outlets, Target Market News, other sources to come out and join us at that press conference so that they can make sure we get that coverage, of course, in our own spectrum as well. But again, we're very excited about it. So the Native Sons of Chicago project is going to launch tomorrow. And what the Native Sons project is going to be doing exactly, I'm going to talk to you about in just a little bit. But I want to focus on equity crowdfunding in the broader sense, right? The part that goes beyond just what we're going to be doing at Native Sons of Chicago. And it's very important because this is where, this is what becomes the outlet for the ambitions of a lot of you and then a lot of our young people who are working at places like 1647, Blue 1647 and Blue Lacuna when that opens, and working with Emil Cambry and Wendell Mosby and those guys, or the new Bop Business Center that Ro Davis and them just opened up on 79th Street. People that are really housing and putting together wonderful ideas, they're going to have an outlet for those ambitions. And those outlets won't always sit with venture capitalists or traditional investment vehicles, but they can certainly be funded by the people in the community who can look at it, who can absorb the concept, see your vision, and believe in it enough to put $100 or $250, $500, $1,000, or up to $5,000 in that project. So to recap a little bit about what we've talked about, this will be the fourth video that I've done. So if you want to see any of the previous ones, or if you've missed those, you can go back and see those along my timeline or the timeline of Native Sons of Chicago. It'll probably be easier to find it. There's a little less activity on that timeline. But some of the things that we've been discussing is just my thoughts about how equity crowdfunding will resolve a lot of our basic impediments to doing business in our community. First of which, of course, is access to capital. The second is the support of the business, the customer service of the business, the idea of entitlements, and then the security of a business. We all covered those, particularly in the first video, but I'll be happy to go back through those again. On Wednesday night, we're going to be at the Hyatt Place in Hyde Park doing an equity crowdfunding informational. That one will also deal with what we're doing with Native Sons of Chicago, but I encourage you to share this video now, share the video now, and to share the information about the event. It's going to be Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Hyatt Place in Hyde Park. That's 5225 South Harper, and it's in the conference room, and we'll be back there as we usually are once a month. We'll have free food. It's a free event. The food this month is sponsored by iMortgage, Aubrey Locke. So Aubrey, we appreciate your participation. Aubrey is a dynamic mortgage lender and has some wonderful programs that can help you to make the purchase of a home, done the right way for you and your family. So tomorrow, again, is the launch of our equity crowdfunding campaign, and you're going to see two other campaigns that are going to get launched and discussed along the way as well. One of them is a fitness company, and the other one is a greeting card company. But those are going to be posted on the site vestlo.com. That's VESTLO.com. Now, something I want to talk about first. I want to talk about the fact that, I've mentioned for a very long time that once you start to show that we start to show that we have the ability to raise money and to build and do create jobs on our own, that the community outside, the municipal leaders and things like that will start to flood our community with investment and with investment dollars. I think that the current political environment has also lent itself to making sure that that happens as well, whether you're dealing with the police brutality issue or just the violence issue, which I don't really like to talk that much about and give too much weight to. But if those issues have created an environment where everybody's putting the city up under a lot of pressure to do a lot for us and to build and create jobs in the community. So last week, I'm going to start by talking about this. Last week, the mayor made two dynamic announcements were made by the mayor's office. The first of which was Mayor Rahm Emanuel announced his pilot program to develop vacant homes in areas in need of investment and jobs. That's an announcement that came out on the 9th last week. And that's a wonderful thing that they're going to be doing that. In the city of Chicago, man, you got literally thousands upon thousands of vacant properties that need to be redeveloped. And it's doubtful that this program is going to do enough to do all of those. It's doubtful that Native Sons, even over the next 5 years, where we project to invest over $100 million across different spectrums in these communities, is not going to do everything. We're going to create a lot of jobs along the way. We're going to rebuild a lot of homes, and we're going to create sustainable home environments for veterans and other people throughout these years. But it's not enough to do everything. So we applaud the efforts that the city makes in doing similar things that create jobs and help us fill what is really a gaping hole, an enormous gap in our community as it relates to jobs and investment. The difference in that program, though, is that your money will not be invested in that project. At this point and up to this time, there is no mechanism that the city has put in place that allows you to do that on your own or as a partner, if you will, with the city. So they're not saying to you there, this is an equity crowdfunding project and we're going to allow you to put your money in or whatever. But that's the fundamental difference between what they're doing with that, other forms of these investment programs that you see, and what Native Sons of Chicago is going to be doing. So with the Native Sons of Chicago project, on this first raise, we're going to be raising $500,000. And that $500,000 is going to be a 20% equity investment in our company by you, by the crowd. The minimum price that you can get into that on, the minimum per unit price, is $250. So that's all it takes for you to get from behind the computer and make your investment in your community real, is a minimum of $250. Now, I expect that many of you will come a lot stronger than that. You'll buy 2 units or 3 units or 4 units. You can buy up to 20 units for a maximum of $5,000. And certainly, I would encourage you to do that because we want to raise this money quickly, when we want to raise it efficiently, and then go about the work of getting the job done that we will have promised you in this effort. By the time you see this project on that site, it will have been vetted across 3 lines: the portal, the aggregation company called Fund America, and also the Secretary of State will have done a preliminary vet on the project as well. The only thing you have to do is feel confident that myself, my partners Al Prudeau, Amari Kamal, and the partners that we engage to do the work on these homes and such will be able to do that, and we absolutely are capable and qualified to do just that. Now, one of the other things that came out last week was this announcement of 42 new homes that are planned in Bronzeville. Now, this is important because this is going to give you a very good example of something that I talked about in previous videos on this discussion. And what that is this. He said they're going to build 42 homes in Bronzeville, and these homes are going to be from 39th to 45th on Prairie, Calumet, and Indiana. Now, these are lots that have been vacant for a very long time. They're city-owned lots. And a lot of people were kind of upset because the idea was that the houses are going to be priced from $440,000 to $589,000. So people were posting this last week, and they're hitting the wall like, oh, that's gentrification, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to block everybody out. And to a degree, we know that the developers that are going to be getting these lots for $1, we know that they won't necessarily be developers that come from right inside our community. Again, this is not something that we've been asked to invest our money in so that we can take part in the profitability of that. But I'm going to show you a way that we can use equity crowdfunding to benefit from that. And again, he's filling a gap. Those are empty, vacant lots right now, and that needs to be filled. And it's what you call the law of use, right? If we haven't used it, then ultimately we will lose it. So what I want to do is to continue to have this discussion so that we can start to use what we have at our disposal, whether it's the vacant properties we have in our community, the vacant land that we have in our community. We want to use it to our benefit. United, we profit. So I'm going to show you a map real quick of that area. Now this is this map. Whoop, hold up. We're going to go from 39th Street, which is Persian Road here, to 45th Street, which is approximately here, Prairie, Calumet, and Indiana. Now, you guys know that the real estate on Prairie, Indiana Avenue, Michigan, beautiful, incredible properties that are already there in existing houses and buildings, right? Now, so what he said is the 42 homes that are priced between $440,000 and $589,000, and everybody's like, that's a lot of money. Who can afford that? I know plenty of people who can afford it. I know plenty of people who have bought them, but traditionally, when we've had that kind of money, we've bought those houses in the suburbs. You get a little bit more, you get a little more land, maybe different tax structure, something like that, or you don't have the hustle and bustle that the city brings. But we got people in our community that are well qualified to buy these homes. But I want to still give you one other angle. I talked to Aubrey Locke, the mortgage broker from iMortgage, who's going to sponsor our event on Wednesday night and make sure you all got food when you come in. And I just wanted to confirm something with him. So the question was, how much money does a person have to make to buy a house at the average of that, which is around $500,000? And, you know, relative to a person's debt load and all these other issues, you know, it could be as little as $150,000 if they got really, really good credit, low debt load, can qualify for a very low interest rate, which of course they're still out there. So what that house would cost you now from a month-to-month basis is a lot different than another time in the market, let's say when the rates were a lot higher. So a lot of your mortgage brokers and real estate agents like myself and others have been telling you for a long time, rates are low, buy now. But the people who buy these houses will probably still be in a position relative to the market at that time to take advantage of what would still be historically low interest rates, right? But instead of us saying, well, who's going to own those homes and so, what I'm looking at is there's 42 families that are moving into our area that have a household income of $100,000, $125, $150 or more. So some of these families will be in the $200,000, $300,000 tax bracket, and you know, they'll have nice sustainable incomes, and that's a great thing, right? So how does the rest of the community benefit from that? Because now we have an opportunity to come together through equity crowdfunding and invest in the businesses that those families will patronize in their new community. So if you built, we know, okay, so we got a few bars, restaurants. We got Truth on 39th right there. You got Renaissance, Bronzeville. You got Peaches. You got the Waffle House. You got some bars and restaurants over there in the area. I'm sure that we could probably use a couple more, especially right along that 43rd Street corridor from King Drive back to State Street. There's still a lot of room for improvement right there in that area. But where are they going to go wash their clothes or go to the cleaners at? The barbershop. There's a lot of different businesses that could be placed there to essentially supply 42 families that are going to be making in excess of $150,000 or whatever more per year. That's well, even if it was just $100,000, let's just say for the sake of even numbers, that's $4.2 million in annual income coming to that area. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And it's definitely a good thing now that we have a way to come together and help to fund the businesses that will be going in that area. That's a really, really wonderful thing. So again, don't be discouraged when you hear that. Don't think of it as gentrification on steroids. It's an opportunity for us to work together to finance and fund new businesses in that area. So I'm welcoming anybody who has ideas about what they'd like to put in areas like these, or even in your neighborhood, wherever you live. It could be Auburn, Gresham, Woodlawn, South Shore, Park Manor, anywhere. Let's talk about what type of businesses you'd like to see in your community that we might be able to use equity crowdfunding to build quickly, fund quickly, and get the community involved in this collective investment effort that will, along the way, help to create a lot of jobs. You know, the Native Sons Project, the third video I did the other day, we were live inside of a vacant building, and we talked about the fact that on each transaction, each deal, each individual property, you're talking about support for about 18, 19 businesses that are real estate related businesses. Figure 2 employees or 2 people from each one of those businesses earning from it. You got 37 professionals plus the unskilled labor that comes into that, which would be about 13 or more unskilled workers on each property. These are people that will be drawn straight from the communities that these properties will be located in. So it's an excellent opportunity for us to be able to do that. You know, this is a citizen economy that we're in right now, and you're about to slowly see that roll out. So the press conference tomorrow, this is not my press conference. This is not me getting up just to talk about what it is that we're doing. It's Howard Tolman from 1871. It's Elliot Richardson from the SBAC. It's State Representative Carol Sente, who's the chief sponsor, and Senator Tom Cullerton, who sponsored it in the Senate. And they're going to talk about everything that it means to them and what it is that they want to do. And, of course, Howard Tolman being the head of 1871, you got tons of technology companies that are there that are going to be able to implement and use this right away. So a lot of the question that I get has to do with, okay, so has anybody ever done this before? And that's a yes and a no. So the simple answer is yes. Equity crowdfunding deals are taking place all over this country, and I'm going to give you a couple of more examples of that here in just a moment. Has it been done in Chicago on a localized level to the degree of what I'm explaining to you and have in these videos? No, it has not. So the question becomes, are we, the guardians of this community, if you will, going to stand up and do what we're supposed to do? You know, the other day, I was on Facebook and I saw our brother Damon Williams, the comedian, great brother, funny brother. I've met him many times over the years and I've always enjoyed his company and it shows when I've gone to him. And he mentioned the fact the other day that there are no black-owned comedy clubs left in Chicago since Jokes and Notes closed down, and now that's Renaissance Bronzeville. So I said, well, equity crowdfunding, we could do that overnight. A comedy club? That's easy. All it takes is the management side of that to come together and the vision behind it, that we can package it together and present it back to the public, who would be the consumers of it, the patrons of it, the promoters and the lovers of it, if you will. What if you could have owned a piece of Jokes and Notes, right? If they came out and said, look, we need money, guys, and we want to raise $200,000, $250,000 to kind of refresh the institution and build it back up to where we want to bring in some new acts and some new talent. And we did that at $250 entry-level investment. So all it takes is 1,000 people to do that. And now Jokes and Notes would be open, and everybody who put that money in would not only be going there to see the shows, but they would be telling all their friends to go, promoting them, posted all the videos from it. But then also on the backside of that, they would be profiting from that as well. So again, when we say our hashtag is going to be United We Profit, we already hashtag the power of us, but also be United We Profit, because if we come together and we do things like that, we will profit from it, and we will also be taking part in really building strong businesses in our neighborhoods. So are you going to profit a lot from one deal that you put $250, $500 in? No, you won't. In most cases, you won't profit a whole lot unless it's something that comes out and hits a super home run and gets bought out or something like that, that kind of structure. But what happens is now you can take 100 and put it into this business, 250 and put in that business, or 500 in that business. And now you can have a diversified portfolio of businesses that you own that are central to the community that you live in and move around in every day. And if we're teaching our children about investing, this is a very good way to do it, because it's very simple. The numbers are smaller, they're more manageable. The barriers of entry are basically wiped away, and it's something that your children are more apt to be able to understand, particularly if they don't go to school or not studying investment structures in their current school and the educational environments that they're operating in. So we have a great example. We have a great opportunity here, and the Native Sons of Chicago is looking to be an example of the fact that this can work. We want to be, we're going to go out there, we put the sacrifice in, we'll take the arrows in our back to make sure that those of you who have other businesses that you want to bring around, you can do that. I've had plenty of people talk to me about TV shows, movies, and other types of businesses that they're interested in opening up, but a lot of people are going to be waiting to see what we're going to do. So what I'm going to say to you is this: tomorrow is go time. And I'm asking for each one of you to at the very minimum, to buy a share, or buy a unit of Native Sons. And that minimum is going to be $250. We want to raise this money quickly. We want to get it up there. You certainly have to trust that myself and my partners, Al Prudhoe and Amari Kamal, have what it takes to do this project. But you'll see that absolutely we do. You can read our bios and everything. All of that information is going to be available to you tomorrow on the site. Our private placement memorandums, our operating agreement, our executive summaries, all of that information. If you want to have an attorney, take a look at it, make sure it's all legit. All of that's going to be there for you. The only thing I need you to do is believe in it and support it, and you're going to be welcome to ask any question you want. We are going to be available to go into any community in this city, in anywhere really in the state, and inform people more about what it is that we're doing. We had a great presentation the other day out in Barrington, and the only question they had is, how much could I invest? You know, they see the opportunity to invest in our neighborhood, and not from a, hey, we're going to gentrify and take over your neighborhood, but just that we really want to see your community develop. You know, they don't want the folks out in Barrington that we saw last week, just to keep it 100 with you. It was expressed to us many times that the news that they hear coming out of Chicago is not good news, and they don't like to hear it. They're not enjoyers of that news, and they'd like to know what they can do to help. If invested in a company like Native Sons or in other projects that we would put forward as a way to do that, then now you have a diversification of capital. So if the city or the state is not putting money in, but private citizens from around the state and from diverse cultures are putting money in, then that's a good thing also, because they're helping that process and doing their part to do that. So there is a lot there. Stan Martin, go to Native Sons of Chicago on Facebook. You'll see a link to a website there. Our website should be fully up and operable by tomorrow to be nativesonsofchicago.com. Mark Buford, thanks for your question. I do not know if there's a strategic effort in place to recruit those 42 families. That's a city objective in what they're doing. I'd like to be one of the people as a real estate agent to sell those properties to prospective buyers. But I don't know if there's a plan to do that other than building it, kind of a build it and they will come type of structure. And I'm sure that the development companies are going to be hiring agents and other people to get the word out and make sure that those properties are sold. In most cases, they'll be sold before they get built. That's what's going on in Bronzeville right now. But we can't be slow. We can't continue to be slow to adopt these things. So I'm encouraging your early engagement, your early adoption of this, so we can move through it and pave the way for others to come behind what Native Sons of Chicago is going to be doing, and make sure that we can really build this impact. And you know, over the course of the next year, we can have several companies and several businesses being funded and established this way. Now, a couple of months ago, Indiegogo, you guys are all familiar with Indiegogo as a charitable crowdfunding site. This is where a lot of independent artists, musicians, playwrights and TV shows, stuff like that, they would go to Indiegogo to get a lot of their money. But I want to show you, they begun their equity crowdfunding part of their site now. And a couple months ago, they just had 2 projects up there, and now they have, I want to say like 6, right? Now, one of them is this business here. It's called, let me see if you can, let me blow it up a little bit for you. This one is called Texas Zebo. It's a coffee bar and lounge with artisan pizza in Texas. They were going after, on the open thing here, they were going after $100,000 to $500,000 is what they were asking for. They've raised $107,000 from 127 investors. So that's just around, just under $1,000 per person on average, right? They've got 30 days left to raise as much as they can. They've already passed their minimum benchmark, so they're good. And their minimum investment is just $250. And if you can see the pictures, it's a good look at what it is that they're doing. It's this is one of those deals where it appears that they're raising money, and they have a nice little video here, but they're raising money for a concept that they've already put together. And sometimes these will be places where they're already open and doing business, and now they're selling shares and essentially going public or selling units and going public in order to raise more money for their business. Another one, and I told you guys the other day that restaurants, bars, brew houses, and stuff like that are very popular in this. Here's the other one, Republic Restoratives. They're already funded. Their round is closed. They raised $300,000 at $100 minimum investment. So you cannot tell me that this cannot be done. You can't tell me that it can't be done from within our community. If you, for a lot of the people who I sent the email of the Buying Power in Black America document that kind of outlines our spending habits, this last report was issued in 2013 at the edge of 2014, and it shows what we spend our money on. So without going into detail, I'll just tell you that you can't convince me that we don't have that money, that every individual, not every individual, of course, but that $250 is too much, it's too risky. You know, it's not that type of situation. A lot of us spend that kind of money on lunch, dinner, or out, you know, with a stunt budget over the weekend. A lot of us do that, and we do that without fail. We'll buy a pair of $250 gym shoes. We'll do a lot of different things, but now we get the opportunity to invest in our own community through that. So, you know, Native Sons of Chicago is a great company. It's a great business. But you may, for whatever reason, not be interested in doing that. But you're going to see several different offerings come across you. And my encouragement to you is to take a really, really good look at it. And if you really are a person who believes that we need to do more to build our communities, then you need to take a look at something that you feel comfortable investing in. And that's why I said I'll talk to anybody. Call me, you can email me. You can send me a message on this page or at the Native Sons page. Once the project is up on the portal, any question that you have about the project that you're using in order to make an informed decision, you can post it on the portal, and that question will come to us, and we will answer it in open source so that everyone can see the answer to your question. And it helps everybody to kind of get through that process of making these decisions a lot more quickly. So with that, I just want to tell you that, again, it's go time, and we're ready. So tomorrow, keep your eyes on the news in the morning and afternoon and the evening. We don't know what the news cycle is going to be like tomorrow, but we certainly hope that we're going to get some coverage out of this and more people can be involved. But you will not be able to say that I didn't tell you that this was coming. This is a citizen economy that we're moving into. It's one where people are going to be able to share in ownership in a lot of the things that that are built out and that are put forward in the coming days, months, and years. And you get an opportunity to make a decision about what you really want to do. But I'll be honest with you, don't be on Facebook, talking stuff about what people are doing and not doing and who's meeting with who, when what we need to be focused on now is what we can do to help each other. And I see you, Stan. Send me an inbox. Let me know where you're at, and we can talk about it. I could definitely let you know what's going on. As of tomorrow, I'll really be able to send out the documents, the pitch decks to everybody who's interested in getting it. But I want your level of interest. I want you to let everybody know about the event on Wednesday night in Hyde Park. Again, that's 7 to 9, 5225 South Harper at the Hyatt Place. So that, again, it's informational. So we're going to make sure, everybody says we got to educate people, we got to let people know how this works. We're doing that. And I'm going to do it as much and as often as I can, but I need more of you to come and learn about it so that you can help to proliferate that message, help to get that message out so that we can start doing this now. And then by the time election time rolls around, we could actually be able to say, look, Mr. Mayor, we've already shown that we've got the capacity. We've already invested $5-10 million of our own in several different businesses around town. Now you really got to come correct with the promises that you're going to make. Because now that we figured out we can do it on our own, it's going to kind of change the value proposition for, in terms of what the value of your vote, if you will. It's going to change that proposition greatly. But we'll see how that works when the time comes. But again, my job here is to blow the horn for you and to offer you the means by which I see that we can develop our community. With Native Sons, all that we wanted to do is take what I saw as being a potential side effect of equity crowdfunding and to exercise that side effect as a real strategy. And now that is about to come to life, and you're going to see us do our part to build the community out. And we're going to do it with or without you. You're either in or you're in the way. But I encourage you to ask questions, to do what it takes to learn more about it, find out about it, share this video, Share the other information. Stay in tune with my page and the Native Sons of Chicago page, because this information is going to be flying out fast and furious. There are service providers among you, PR representatives, print and media advertising folks and marketing folks and social media managers like Zandra Hughes and Larisha Nelson and other people who are able to help you to launch and move these projects that you're going to be moving out using equity crowdfunding in the future. So the opportunity is there, guys. And for me, that's all I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about who the president is now. I'm not concerned about, honestly, the mayor or the governor, for that matter. They've already given me the fishing rod. So as far as I'm concerned, all I need to do is go fish and I can get it. And $500,000 is not going to be a lot of money to raise. It's going to be simple. We're going to create tons of jobs by rebuilding these homes in the community, and it's going to be wonderful. So the other thing I want to know is what businesses, again, you can inbox me this, but what businesses do you see we have a need for in the community? We do need corner grocery stores, stuff like that, to still be able to have that convenience of not having to go to Walmart and all the rest of that, right? Gas stations, laundry, cleaners, all these different things. Talk to me about the type of businesses that we need to build. And trust me when I tell you, equity crowdfunding can actually do it. You want to own a liquor store, you can do that too. There is no restriction on the type of business that you can open up as long as it's legal and the zoning and other things relative to the city and state requirements that you can, there's no business that you basically can't open using this tool. In the future, your political leaders are going to be talking about this. And they're going to be telling you, they're going to be encouraging you to use equity crowdfunding because it's going to relieve pressure from municipal leaders to bring that type of money to you, to squeeze budgets and remaneuver budgets to bring development to the community. That changes when you start doing it yourself. And now we can do other things with that. We can redirect that. We can change the political conversation in this city by doing more for ourselves. So again, I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to be up every day, all day, and edit all night when I can and when I have to. And we're going to make this information work for our people. So with that, feel free to ask any questions. Jesse Jackson Jr., I see you, brother. We love you, and we hope to have your participation as well in this type of project and program to be able to add the power of your voice and your historical presence to something like this. Would mean a lot to us. It'll mean a lot to the people of Chicago, and it definitely gives you a way to reposition the efforts that you've made since you've been home, and we honor you and your family. Charlisha Hurd, yes, that's this Wednesday, 7 to 9 at the Hyatt Hotel in Hyde Park, 5225 South Harper. Again, it's a free event. We'll have free food there. And again, it's an informational. This is one of those things where we can't hide this light under a bushel basket, if you will. We cannot benefit, the community won't benefit, the neighborhood won't benefit by not telling everybody what's going on here. This is really something we gotta share. This is the game that can be told and not sold, right? You know how they used to say, the game is to be sold, not to be told? That was one of those little things that held us back historically because everybody was harboring and hoarding information to themselves about how to develop and create. But now we don't have the luxury of doing it that way anymore. We have to share because we're in a citizen economy, and in the sharing of information, the same way you share those articles about all types of different things and share inspirational memes and all these other things, you get to share the opportunity to invest in your community, and you can't ask for more than that. I don't need anything else from the governor or the mayor now. You gave us the fishing rod. I'm going to fish, and I want you guys to be out there with me in the boat. Let's get it. And with that, I thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Listen to information again tomorrow from the press conference. That press conference is from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. If you're interested in coming, inbox me. I'll send you the media advisory and the information you need to be able to go. And if not, I'll see you on Wednesday night, and I'll see you very frequently on these videos as we continue to push this information. And the last thing that I'm going to ask of you is let me come and address your Chamber of Commerce, your church or your pastoral body. Let me address your school. Let me talk to young people about this. This is the future. They're the future guardians of the citizen economy and the future beneficiaries of it. Let's do that. We have a huge opportunity in front of us, guys, and I want each and every one of your participation in taking advantage of it. Thank you very much. Have a good night, and happy MLK Day to everybody. If we're living inside the vision that he had, then this is a no-brainer. This would be the easiest thing we ever did. Thank you very much.